Epigenetics is the idea that biological changes caused by trauma and stress can be passed down from parents to their children for generations. We already know that stress shows up physically. Chronic stress or trauma can cause things like diabetes, anxiety, depression years later. Epigenetics suggests that trauma caused by, for example, slavery doesn't stop at the individual traumatized person. Their children and grandchildren can suffer the effects, even when raised in perfectly safe and peaceful environments, which we know, of course, isn't often the case because after slavery came Jim Crow, and after Jim Crow came mass incarceration. One researcher studied the children of 40 Holocaust survivors and found multiple signs of epigenetic changes in their physiology. Other studies show that the children of parents who suffered starvation early in life had more instances of heart disease. Imagine it. Your mother goes hungry when she's a child, and you suffer heart disease as a result. When studying humans, though, it's hard to control the variables, like are poor health outcomes the result of epigenetic changes or simply the result of stressful events in the test subject's life? Plus, it's hard to study generations of people without spending hundreds of years doing it. By studying mice, researcher Isabel Munzi was able to control multiple variables and study many generations. Munzi found fascinating evidence in support of epigenetics, but unless I make this a 10-minute long video, I can't get into all the details right now. But there is one thing I want to point out. Munzi found evidence that the heritability of trauma can be halted if traumatized mice are raised in positive, enriched environments. This could mean that one generation's trauma doesn't have to permanently scar later generations. As we work toward a just and equitable society, this research must be considered, especially when it comes to healthcare. What might reparations in the form of healthcare look like?